The Belize Sugar Industries Limited, American Sugar Refining, BSI-ASR, and the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, Bscfa, have agreed to jointly appoint an independent mediator to settle their commercial agreement dispute with less than 10 weeks remaining to the start of the new crop season. After today's sitting of the House of Representatives, which we'll tell you about further into the newscast, Rosenio told the media that an expert in the industry would be identified as mediator and will be paid for by both sides.
The Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association controls, I think it's almost about 50% of the cane that's available, and so it is in the interest of the country for there to be an agreement, a settlement soon. What we've been discussing, and something that we have proposed to both teams, is for us to have a mediator that can sit with both sides and try to see what are the sticking points and see how we can walk them through to find an agreement. Finally, both sides have finally agreed that they're prepared to do that. So I see within the next week or so that that mediation will start.
How effective has the input of Mr. Florence Amarin Sr. been over the few months?
Well, it has been very effective because it is because of his experience and having the ability to speak with both sides. He has managed to keep things calm and that it does not get out of control. The animosity between two sides. And remember, he's not only working with these two, but he's also keeping informed the other three associations. So I do believe that by him coming on board, we have managed to keep things calm and keep things going, and that there's still dialogue between the two sides. Well, I think that what both sides have agreed to is that the issue with the mediation. And I think that's a big step, that once they agree to a mediator, that both of them appoint, that both of them are paying for, and that both of them pay for the expenses. So nobody could say, well, I say, who paid the pipers called the tune? Well, in this case, both of them are doing it. And I think quite likely they're looking at somebody outside of Belize, an expert in this industry, that then can take a hard look at what is in front of them, and then to be able to come quickly within the next few weeks with some sort of recommendations to be able to move this forward.
The Bscfa is looking for a 60-40 value share, which the company is willing to agree to, but with the exclusion of proceeds derived from the sale of direct consumption sugars. BSI-ASR has indicated that the Bscafa's demand would result in a $20 million transfer of funds from the mill to the association, which the company cannot afford. This seems to be the main point of contention for now, but the hope of the Prime Minister is that with a middleman in the picture, both sides will finally see eye to eye.
To be fair, no company will give up $20 million. And I've been saying that to the Bscfa Farmers Association, that if you give up $20 million from revenues of what they end up with about $60 million, you're driving them to bankruptcy. And we need both sides. We need the miller and we need the farmers. So we need to find out a compromise from both sides. A number of issues have already been addressed. Now the issue now is the cost of the production of the direct consumption sugars, where they're saying they are charging a manufacturing cost of $150 per ton. I have pointed out to the farmers that at the start of this whole negotiations, the cane farmers wanted the right to be able to audit the costs that are charged at the top to come to what we call the net value. And BSI was resisting that. Not because of the negotiations back and forth. No, BSI has finally relented on that and said, okay, we are prepared to allow the cane farmers with, of course, having professionals to come in and audit that. And my point is then, once you do that, then you're starting to move in the right direction. Then that will then be able to say what are the true costs. Because the cane farmers are right. For all of these years, they have never been able to have access to the true numbers. I mean, BSI would tell them, okay, the direct consumption sugar cost X million, this one costs X million, without really giving the cost. So I believe with that, and having now an independent mediator that is appointed between the two of them and the government not getting involved, I believe that we'll be able to come to some kind of an agreement. It might not be the best for both sides, but at least it is something for them to start to get ready to be able to open the crop in December.